This video will discuss the reliability of the characters in Ridley Scott's 2012 science fiction film Prometheus. Do the characters make evidence-based claims? Should we, as the audience, believe their claims? Do the audience and the film's characters have access to the same information? This is the Film Symbologist, and this video is being made in July of 2024, a few weeks from the theatrical release of Fede Alvarez's Alien Romulus. This video is also part of an ongoing series that will analyze various aspects of Ridley Scott's film, including its plot, setting, mythology, story, and symbolism.
What's the symbology there?
Symbology? I'm sure the word you were looking for was symbolism. What is the symbolism there? Let me explain it to you.
In previous videos, I've discussed Shaw's claim that the so-called engineers created humanity, then changed their minds and decided to destroy humanity. That video also speculated about the possibility of there being two factions of engineers, one of which is represented in the opening scene at the waterfall, and the other is represented by the sleep apnea engineers on LV-223. In another video, I discussed the timeline of the story and whether the ancient artifacts are star maps and invitations to LV-223, or if they are something else. If you haven't seen those videos, I suggest checking them out on my channel. This video will take a look at some of the claims that characters make in the film, what evidence their claims are based on, and whether their perspectives ought to be challenged. Throughout the film Prometheus, characters make bold claims about the origins of humanity, the meaning of life, the motivations of the so-called engineers, and the purpose of LV-223. Throughout the film, bold claims are made by many characters, including Shaw, Holloway, Vickers, Yanek, and Weyland. In some instances, characters' claims can be easily dismissed as wrong. In other instances, the audience is more likely to defer to a character's supposed expertise or authority. Let's take a look at some examples of bold claims made by characters. To start, Chance, who's a co-pilot and member of the Prometheus ship's crew, bets Ravel that the mission's purpose centers around terraforming.
About 100 credits as a terraforming survey.
No, if it's a survey, they would just tell us.
This is a corporate run, they're not telling us shit. Come on.
100.
Alright, you're on.
Later, when other members of the crew are exploring the pyramidal structure, they realize the air inside the pyramid seems breathable, despite the air outside being toxic. Chance takes the opportunity to proclaim this as evidence of a terraforming mission.
Well, come on. Pay up.
Pay what?
What do you mean, pay what? Something's manufacturing breathable air down there. That maid is terraforming.
No. The bet was why we came here. If you said the dead old man wanted to talk to Martians, then I'd pay.
Oh, come on, 100 credits.
It is easy for the audience to dismiss Chance's assertion, because by this point in the film, we've already seen the briefing scene where Weyland's holographic recording is played, and Holloway and Shaw present their research on the ancient artifacts, which explain that the main purpose of the mission is something other than terraforming. The audience can easily discern that Chance is motivated to portray an example of terraforming as more important than it is, because he wants to win his bet and prove his initial thought was correct. This is a clear example of reasoning that is motivated not by a desire for truth, but a desire to prove one's prior belief correct despite evidence. In this instance, Chance is not only previewing something that characters do throughout the film, but that all human beings do throughout their lives. Shaw is another character whose claims and beliefs ought to be explored.
They created us. And they tried to kill us. They changed their minds.
During her presentation to the crew, Shaw proclaims that the giant beings depicted in the ancient artifacts are the engineers of humanity, and that the artifacts themselves are invitations to LV-223. Later, after one of the engineers is awoken, Shaw states that engineers wanted to bring death to Earth and destroy mankind, and that they must have changed their minds about humanity. Shaw is clearly motivated to believe what she does because she has a naive, childlike, and religious view of humanity's origins. Based on her upbringing, she wants to believe that the creation of the world and mankind was a good thing done by a beneficent creator God. She wants to believe this so badly that she projects this desire onto the ancient artifacts. Even after she realizes that she was wrong about the beneficent nature of the engineers on LV-223, she still holds on to the idea that these engineers loved and cared for mankind at one time, but must have changed their minds as a result of something that we did. Shaw's bias is that she has a very human-centric view, and this view, in part, prevents her from evaluating her situation objectively. After Holloway and Shaw's presentation to the crew, David requests the presence of the two scientists in Vickers' quarters on the ship. During their conversation, Vickers states her belief that, quote, "Your engineers are scribblings of savages living in dirty little caves," end quote. Despite the evidence presented by Shaw and Holloway, Vickers sees the expedition as a waste of Weyland Corporation resources, but the audience can clearly see that she is not interested in the truth. She is interested in inheriting control of the corporation. Vickers doesn't care about the expedition. She might even want it to fail so that she can make a case for herself to take over as CEO of Weyland Corporation. She is motivated to see things in a way that benefit her desires. She isn't a neutral arbiter of information. Now, the character of Holloway also offers several ideas about what he believes is going on. During his presentation, he claims that the ancient artifacts are maps. After exploring parts of one of the pyramids, he assumes that all engineers are dead. While Holloway's questions about mankind's purpose and origins may not get answered in the film, David demonstrates that at least one engineer survived the incident and remained alive in cryosleep. Who knows what the other unexplored pyramids or areas of the moon may have contained? Clearly, Holloway's proclamations were premature. Can we blame him, though? He spent years exploring tombs of long-dead civilizations on Earth, and much of the pyramid on LV-223 was tomb-like. But Holloway was too quick to jump to conclusions and to despair, and this left him vulnerable to being experimented upon. When it comes to the captain of the Prometheus spaceship, Yanek, he makes some claims of his own regarding the nature of the engineers on LV-223. At various parts in the film and in deleted scenes, Yanek claims that LV-223 is not the homeworld of the engineers, that the pyramid is some kind of military installation, and that he believes the incident that occurred on LV-223 2,000 years ago was the result of the engineers experimenting with the black goo and accidentally unleashing it. Yanek has a background in military service, and he looks to those past experiences to fill in the gaps of what he observes on LV-223. With minimal information available to him about the LV-223 engineers and pyramid, he draws from what he knows to make sense of his experience. Looking to past lessons in order to make sense of new experiences is something we all do to orient ourselves and rationalize the world around us. Sometimes we are picking up on legitimate repeating patterns when we do this, but other times this is more of a shortcut to comfortable answers as opposed to a more accurate and nuanced picture of a situation. In our introduction to Peter Weyland in the film, we see a holographic recording of the billionaire CEO.
I have spent my entire lifetime contemplating the questions. Where do we come from? What is our purpose? What happens when we die?
Later, after it is revealed that Weyland is alive, he speaks with the engineer in a deleted scene.
We are creators. We are gods. And gods never die. Sorry. There's nothing. I know.
Weyland's short exchange with one engineer is enough to convince him that there is nothing, mankind has no meaningful beginning, no purpose, and nothing happens when we die. While David concurs, the audience should question this conclusion, just as we've questioned many other claims made by characters throughout the film. For all the research that Shaw and Holloway have conducted, for all the military experience that Yanek has, and for all the resources of the Weyland Corporation, we, the audience, have more information to draw upon than any of them. We are privy to everything the crew and passengers of the Prometheus spaceship are, and more. Why should we rely on them, their biases, assumptions, and foregone conclusions? We have seen something they haven't. We know more than they do. None of the characters postulating about the engineers in LV-223 are aware of the sacrificial act at the waterfall in the film's opening scene. The audience needs to draw its own conclusions, informed but not burdened by the speculations of the film's less informed characters. Why place the ill-informed speculations of Shaw, Holloway, Chance, Vickers, Yanek, and Weyland above our own, better-informed speculations? Understanding the film Prometheus will not be accomplished by trusting what the characters believe. You and I, as members of the audience, have to piece together the puzzle of this film in order to discover a coherent narrative. In future videos, I'd like to explore other aspects of Prometheus, including discussions of the film's setting, mythology, meaning, and symbolism. While I am curious to see how Fetty Wap's alien Romulus will connect to the franchise, I likely won't do much delving into other films in the series. I would like to analyze other films though, including the Dark Knight trilogy, the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Infinity Saga, The Matrix, The Terminator, and other films that may be of interest to viewers. So if you enjoy this content and would like to see more, please comment, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. From the Film Symbologist, thanks for watching.